Edmund Burke once said, "All government, indeed every human benefit and enjoyment, every virtue, and every prudent act, is founded on compromise and barter." In 1781, laws called the Articles of Confederation were passed in early colonial America. They mandated a weak central government and states that were allowed to pass any legislation they liked. This naturally led to civil unrest and rebellion. And after one particularly nasty rebellion called the Shays' Rebellion, people in America knew that America would not survive under the Articles of Confederation. This is why delegates from each state came together in the Constitutional Convention to try to put together a federal constitution for the United States that would help it be sustained for the years to come. There were three major compromises these delegates had to make, though: a compromise on the plans for the organization of government, president's powers, and the representation of slaves. So let's look at the plans for the organization of the government. This issue is divided into two camps: the Virginia Plan and the New Jersey Plan. Delegates that proposed the Virginia Plan wanted 3 strong branches of government, a president, and equal representation among states. Well, delegates proposing the New Jersey Plan wanted a sovereign states, a Supreme Court, 3 branches of government, and equal representation among the states. The compromise was that the Virginia Plan, it was generally kept, the delegates generally liked it, except for the part about equal representation, which was changed to representation based on population. Another hot topic during the Constitutional Convention was the president's powers. Most nationalists wanted a strong and independent president that could veto any legislation. However, Roger Sherman, a highly influential delegate during the time, wanted a president that would only carry out legislation and that could not veto legislation and that can be easily removed by a majority. The compromise was to give the president a limited veto power, and his vetoes could be overturned by 2/3 of the government. Finally, we have the representation of slaves. This was probably the biggest issue during the Constitutional Convention. Southern delegates wanted slaves to be counted as people. The more when it came to federal representation, the more citizens they had in their states, the more federal representatives they could gain, and therefore the more power they could gain in U.S. government. Northerners did not want the Southerners to have an edge, so they proposed that slaves be counted as citizens when it came to taxation. The compromise was to denote slaves as 3/5 of a person in both state representation and federal representation, in both taxation and general representation. Although this decision lacked both logic and morality, it was what they agreed on, and sadly slavery would be present till the late 1800s. So in conclusion, these fine men from each state in America came together in the Constitutional Convention to compromise on what the federal Constitution would be made of, what rules and what laws would be in there. If our country today did this, if each side, liberal and conservative, came together and tried to compromise, tried to work something out, we would have a much smoother run government. We would have less political strife and more peace. Thank you very much.